Hi everyone. So just letting you know that you're probably gonna hear some extra dry mouth in this episode, so don't listen too closely. Get me out of your ears. Um, because I took a gummy earlier or two. Um, because I had an incident, or well, I wouldn't say I had an incident, but there was an incident earlier. I just need to get this out of my head. So, Janice and Nadine are, friends. If this is your first episode, um, I guess that's all you need to know. They're friends. Oh my God. This is gonna be like, I don't know how this is gonna sound, but I'm sorry, I need to get this out of my head. However, it gets out, through my mouth, my unmedicated mouth. Almost unmedicated. I still have quite a while to go. But, anyways, so okay, let me just back up and try to slow things down. So, yesterday. So like this past weekend was Easter, and I mean, Alicia and I don't celebrate it because we're not religious. We're just, I like to eat chocolate on Easter. That's as far as it goes for me. And so last year for Easter, our friends Janice and Nadine invited us over next door to Janice's house for like an Easter dinner kind of thing. And I remember like feeling, wow, what a special thing to do for us. Like people don't usually do stuff like invite us over like for a nice dinner or something because I don't know, we're just homebodies. And anyways, you just don't say no to Janice. Um, and so we went and we actually had a good time. Like it was really nice. And so this Easter comes around and we don't hear from them next door. And I'm like, oh, I really hope they forgot that they invited us over last year. And they don't think we're assholes for not doing the same this year because we're not a reciprocating type of people. Not when it like we are, but not when it comes to like socially like anything, really. That's what I love about Alicia is like she's just as non-social as I am. But so we thought, oh great, we don't have to like go over next door. We can just have like a weekend at home and da 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 and good times. And so we did. And then yesterday's Monday, and Monday rolls around and Janice texts me and she's like, "Hey, we would like to have you over for like a late Easter dinner. Would you like to do tomorrow night, which is tonight, Tuesday, or Wednesday night?" Now, let me just like tell you where my mind went to. My mind went to, oh, okay, so like they must have cooked this food because she said ham and potatoes, and well, I said potatoes, she said potatoes, and she asked if that would be okay, and I was like, of course. And so when she gave me the option of Tuesday or Wednesday, I thought to myself, and this is what I told Alicia, I was like, I kind of would like to do like Tuesday night because my mind goes to, you must have cooked that food over the weekend. And this is just maybe leftovers. And Janice loves like getting rid of her leftovers. She just loves it. She tries to give them to us, and we say no, but we take them home anyway. And so I told Alicia, um, she's like, "Do you want this to replace your weekly Tuesday noon visit with Janice? And we'll just do tomorrow night." I was like, "Yes, but that's not my real reason. My real reason for maybe wanting to do Tuesday instead of Wednesday is because I don't want to eat food that's more than like 3 days old if I can help it." Because I really thought that like they were just gonna give us leftovers, which not just leftovers, but I mean, I just try to think of like I know how Janice is, they keep things in their fridge for like ever sometimes. I just for some reason that's just where my mind went, and I told Alicia I don't want to chance it that it's 4 days old, just in case it is older food. I was like, it may not be, but I like to go prepared. So Tuesday night it shall be, and we both agreed we're fine with that. So Janice had nobody knows the fucked up thinking that I have except Alicia and you guys. And so I texted back and I was like, thank you. Like, what would you like us to bring? Because I hear that that's still a thing that gets asked. And I don't know, nobody ever tells you what to bring. And Janice just said ourselves, like, that's the normal response. And so I just decided, let me just make them some stuff. So I spent 3 hours today, like doing two different paintings of stuff for them. And I spent quite like that was a long time because I really wanted to do other things. Like I like being crafty, but I don't like doing that like during my routine where like I should, I usually work at this time and like not do that. So whatever. But anyway, so I tried really hard because, I don't often give my art to strangers, at least like in that form. And I figured I feel good about going over and not coming empty-handed because like they're hard to like what do we bring? Like when they have a menu, we've learned in the past, we don't bring our own like here's this to add to the menu or whatever to what you're serving. Like, I guess it's the normal thing to do. People bring over dishes and stuff, and we've tried that, and like they usually send it back with us, which I think is kind of fucking rude, but it's all right. It is funny also. Anyways, so, and they have a lot of alcohol in the house, so I'm like, I'm not gonna bring them alcohol, so I just decided to like make something. And to me, I always wish that it at least communicates to people that I was thinking about you this entire time that I made this thing, and I spent a lot of time on it. And I don't ever say this because that sounds gross and cringy, but I always hope that it's communicated that, like whatever. But anyways, that's what I did. Okay, that still factors into my story. Um. So, anyways, so we're over there, and I guess the short version of this story is, Janice has been like in a really good mood lately. Like, she seems like this different person to me. I don't know. The more I've gotten to know her, she seems more like easygoing and like laid back and like I even told her like during like our one of our I think it was the last visit I had, was it last week? I even told her that she's a better mom than like my bio mom was, and I meant it. And I still mean it. But like she really disappointed me earlier tonight. So I walked in and her and Nadine have like a love-hate relationship. They're sisters. And I picked up on the tension right away. So I knew that like I've over the years I can just tell. And usually I hear from one of them at some point, the next day or a few days later, hey, like we had this argument, me and my sister, whatever, like I can pick up on it. You know what I'm talking about. So we go into the house, and that's the first thing I picked up on was tension between the two of them. So I already knew that like there must have been a disagreement of sorts, but they seemed extra like uh pissy. Is that the right word? I don't know, extra like not in a great mood, I guess, and they were trying to hide it, but like not very well. I don't even know if they realize that, like, people can see through that. At least I can. So, anyways, so there was that. There was an hour of like, we chatted about random shit, and they were a little bit snippy with each other. And then, like, Nadine would be out in the living room, like, talking with us, and like, Janice would be in the kitchen, like, making something. And so, like, there's this mirror on the wall where I could see Janice from where I was sitting in the living room. I could see her, and I don't know that she knew I could see her or what. And I made sure that, like, if she did look at that mirror, she sure as fuck wasn't gonna see me looking at her. So, like, I did a lot of weird shit with my eyes. But, anyways, like, I saw her when Nadine was talking about some stuff, like, just shaking her head, and, like, she looked irritated. I was like, great. Great time to be invited over for fucking dinner. I should have picked Wednesday. So, things just felt very weird. And then the puppy pees on the floor. And next thing I know, Janice just flies up from the couch, yelling, goes after the fucking puppy and like spanks the puppy and yells at her for peeing on the fucking floor. And that right there, oh, I froze. Because like I don't like yelling like that. I can't be around that anymore. Like getting off these meds is like triggering me like way more. I'm noticing more just in general. Like I feel like I'm extra hyper vigilant, and I'm also feeling more. So like this is a weird fucking combination because yeah, I'm so happy that my detective skills are like doing great. Like I'm getting better at like just like clocking shit left and right. But this feeling stuff, I'm not sad about it. It was an inopportune time for what happened to happen. So basically, Janice gets up. And Alicia's just, you know, she was watching the whole thing. She was on the floor. She had been like playing with the dogs. And so I was just shocked that Janice had done that, like, to the puppy. And, like, by the way, don't fucking do that to animals. So later, after some processing, like, I realized, like, in that moment, like, I did not appreciate, like, it was just, it was toxic to me. And it brought me right back to my childhood because my mom used to do the same stuff. Like, oh, I wasn't allowed to have any cats and I really wanted a cat, but she could go out and get whatever fucking dog she wanted. And she never treated them right. Like, she wasn't like, like, wretched, but, like, she would get a dog and then not wanna play with the dog very much, or, like, would pen the dog up, and I would always think to myself, like, and I even said it to her, like, "Why would you get a dog if you don't wanna do the things that you're supposed to do with a fucking dog?" Like, at least I know, like, I'm not getting dogs because I'm too lazy to take care of them, and they need a lot from me that I don't have. Cats can, you know what I mean? I don't know. Oh, sorry for however this is sounding. Just checking the time. 11 minutes. Anyways, so that when Janice did that, like, we had already eaten at that point, right? So, like, we had this great dinner, ham, potatoes, vegetables that I can't remember the last time I ate a vegetable. Because I'm not responsible like that. So those were tasty, and so we had this great meal, and then we were sitting there like, um they were about to, do like dessert time or whatever, coffee and whatever. And she goes and does that shit. And so the whole mood just really just tanked. It was awkwardly quiet in there. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck do I do? Like, I was in freeze mode. I was angry. I was confused. I was upset. I was disappointed. Like, oh, great. Like, she's acting just like my fucking mother. And why would you do this to a fucking animal and a puppy? Really? And they say that that's how they discipline the dogs. That's how the dogs learn. And I really just want to be like, no, that's not how you fucking discipline animals. I don't even like the word discipline in the same sentence as like animal. Like, come on. Like, you teach them and you don't teach them through fear. Like, I just wanted to scream that, but then I was like, oh my God, I feel like I might make a scene. Like, I'm gonna ruin this night. Like, it was old thinking that just came right back to the front of my brain, like it had never left. And I thought I had I don't know. I think this is just trigger shit. Like, I'm still feeling it a little bit. And I probably shouldn't be recording, but I really do need to get this out of my fucking head. And I actually do feel a lot better than I did earlier. Um, so I was still sitting there trying to deal with that. Eventually, Alicia said something, and the awkwardness kind of broke a little bit, and they got back to chatting, and I was still sitting in the chair, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do about this situation? Like, I don't like how I feel right now. I don't like that there was yelling like that. Like, why did this just come out of nowhere? And so then Janice is pushing dessert on us. So, you want some cannolis and some cookies, or would you like some coffee, or would you like tea? And I was just like, coffee's fine, thank you. And I could barely even get those words out of my mouth. What coffee would you like? And I'm like, I don't care, just any kind of coffee you have, like, I'll drink it. Like, that's really all I could think to say. And she didn't like that answer. And would you like regular coffee? Would you like Nespresso? And I'm like, God. So I said Nespresso. And it was just this weird back and forth where she was like, well, what kind did you want? Oh, so I go out to the kitchen with her, and I did not know that their Nespresso machine was hidden in the back corner of their fucking like counter, and they had to move things. Like, Janice was moving things to get to the Nespresso machine, and then like had to reach up to the cabinet to like get things down, and like, and it just was so obvious that she was annoyed that she was having to do this. And I'm like, then why would you offer coffee? So then she had me pick one, and I picked one, and she's like, thank you. She's like, how would you like your coffee? And I said, sugar and milk is fine, thank you. And I went back out to the living room because earlier, which I forgot to say, after we got done eating, I offered to help clean up. I am not a rude guest, and she said, no, thank you. And I know that that's the polite no, thank you. So I just offered one more time, like, are you sure? Like, I don't mind. And she goes, I have things that I do my own way, I do it my way. And the way that she said it was like how I feel, like I do things my way too. Don't fuck with my system. I get it, but I noticed that there was extra bite in that, so I didn't appreciate that. So I picked up on that. All these little things I've been clocking throughout the evening just was storing in my brain. And so then that's why I got really upset about the dog thing. And then this next thing was really like that was all I could take. So like I go back out to the living room and I sit back down and I'm like, okay, I just like it was really hard to say those words just now to make those choices with how I'm feeling in my head. And so and she comes out of the kitchen with her own cup of coffee, not mine. And just I thought she was joking. I thought that really was my cup that she was walking by past me with. And then she stops and she looks at me and she like leans in and she's like, I told you. I wasn't kidding when I said to fix your own coffee. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? I didn't hear her say that because I know that like when I get triggered, like you just there's things that just are existing around me that I don't even notice because of like how into my shit I am. You know what I mean? I didn't hear her say that, but I did hear her ask like, how do you take your coffee? And in my world, and I would think in most people's world, when somebody asks you, how do you take your coffee and you tell them, that means they're going to fucking make it for you because they're asking, how can they make it for you? You know what I mean? So, like, that was so confusing. And the way that she said it, my brain interpreted it. It was just like, that was my fucking mother right there in front of me. And I was like, why is Janice being mean to me like this? And, like, as triggered as I was, I'm not like blinded by I still can see how somebody's acting toward me. Like, oh, my dry mouth. Oh no, where's my water? I hope I don't sound like I'm just gonna, a hot mess. It's the term I grew up with. I hope I don't sound like that. Anyways, so that happened. And I remember getting up. This is where my memory, it's just like I really just started like zone, like I don't know, went somewhere in my brain. And so like I got up and I went into the kitchen and she fucking follows me back out there, Janice. And here's the sugar. And then I had told her milk, but she gave me half and half and I was like, whatever. So I put the half and half in there and like I just burst out crying just right there because I was like, feels so mean somehow. This feels mean. And I tried to hide my tears, but I couldn't. So I just dumped shit into the coffee. And you know what? I picked out my favorite. It was Melozio because I only got one left here. And I was thinking at the time, like, if you're going to make me go to all this fucking trouble to like get this specific right now, which I understand in other circumstances, I appreciate how specific she was trying to be. That just wasn't the time to do it. So I picked out the Melozio. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take the good shit. Thank you. Like, oh, so I take my coffee and I go and I sit back down in my chair and then I just can't stop crying. And so then Janice comes back over to me. She's like, oh, you're so sensitive. Oh, hell no. Do you know how long it's been since somebody has talked to me like that? Not like just my mother, but like back not that long ago when I was working out in the world with fucking people. And like I would get upset about things at work, when masking started to like not work well for me. Oh, it's so sensitive. And so as soon as she said that, I was like, I am not sensitive, Janice. I said, this is trauma. I was like, these are just feelings I'm having, okay? They're just feelings. This is trauma. And so like she just did not know what to do with this. And she goes and like her and Nadine like go sit back down over on the other side of the room and like Alicia's chatting with them and Alicia's keeping an eye on me and I gotta give it to Alicia. She was there with me the whole time. I really felt like she had my back. And so I'm sitting in the chair. If I sound a little bit shaky, I'm not crying. I'm just having that weird like response in my body when I'm talking about stuff that, really affects me. And so like and I just the tears kept coming out of my face. I couldn't stop them. Oh, and so I was sitting there and I was like, because what was happening was Janice and Nadine were glancing at me and I saw it and they would see that I'm still crying and they would look away. and start talking about something as if you know what, this is like my fucking childhood, like my adult life being repeated at like workplaces and stuff. This is the fucking dumb shit people do when they feel uncomfortable and they can't just be there for somebody. So I was like, am I going, what feels worse right now, sitting here uncontrollably crying with them like not even fucking addressing me at this point, not knowing what to say or do I just get up and leave? Is that going to feel worse? And my brain was like, no, that's going to be freedom. Get up and fucking go. So I was like, okay. So I just was like, I'm really sorry, but like I can't stay anymore. Like I really have to go now. So, and I felt like such shit because like I felt like I ruined the evening. I made a scene. This is all old thinking that's coming back in my head that I really, really thought that like I just didn't have anymore. Like rationally, I know that my feelings are valid. I'm okay with like, how I'm feeling is okay. But it was embarrassing because like I couldn't control it. So that's really, really, ugh, I could not control that. So people had to witness that. So I didn't like how that felt. Like my wife is used to seeing me like this, she's seen all my emotions. Like no big deal, for me to do that in front of her. But like this is the first time those two have seen that. And I also knew that they didn't quite understand it. Like they don't talk feelings. They were never taught that stuff, to share about themselves. They don't know any of that. And Janice is like in her late 70s. Nadine is like 60s, so sorry about the dry mouth. But anyways, so this is some funny shit that I was actually laughing about like later on. So like I have my coffee because like I'm bringing that with me, and there's plenty of times I've left their house with beverages in my hand, and I just bring the glass back when I wash it. So that coffee was coming with me. So like I apologized, like got up and I started walking at the door. Alicia gets right up. Both Janice and Nadine like jumped up out of their seats. And like it was just a blur to me because I was trying to get out. But what I do remember, and this is some funny shit, is like you see somebody who's crying and says, I have to go right now, and is like I'm speed walking to the door. Hold on, hold on, hold on. You gotta kiss the babies goodbye. The dogs. Janice wanted me to fucking kiss the dogs, and I'm like, what the fuck? Is this bitch serious right now? I'm like, I have to. So, like, Alicia's like, oh my God. So, Alicia just snatches the puppy and puts the puppy in front of my face, and I go, kiss the puppy. And then I do the same thing with Maddie. Okay. And then I'm like, okay, fine. So, like, I go to, like, open the door, and then Janice is like, do you want any cookies to bring with you? Do you want any cookies? We have some cannolis too. Would you like to take some with you? And I'm in my brain, like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? I need to get the fuck out of here. Aren't they uncomfortable enough that they're trying to keep me longer so they can continue feeling uncomfortable and like we can just make this a whole big fucking scene? Oh my God. So I said, no, no cookies. And so like and Nadine's like, don't forget your coffee. And I was like, I'm not, it's coming with me. So I left and I sped walk next door back to the house. And later when Alicia, because she came right after me, but before she left, she told me like, look, this is stuff her mom used to do. And like the yelling and la la la. And thank goodness for her for at least saying that. I don't even know if it registered in Nadine and Janice's brains, but and so like then I came home and ugly cried and I was like, wow. And like I have this book next to me. I'm just checking the time a little bit. Sorry. Oh, longer episode. I'm almost done. So Peter Levine wrote this book called Walking the Tiger, Healing Trauma, and it is like a book from the 90s. It like the right, yep, 1997. And I asked Alicia like cuz I had seen it somewhere and I haven't like read it before, but the stuff that was starting with like our nieces and like me getting triggered by like their mom, like this is just I was like, "Dude, where's that book because like I want to read it." And I was just reading this section last night at the beginning where he talks about like how animals like the responses that you have to trauma and how it gets trapped in your body. And I'm like, oh my God, like I learned about this years ago in therapy. How did I forget? Like I have a lot that I still have to work through that's trapped in my body. And I was like, well, this makes sense to me. So like Walking the Tiger, Healing Trauma, if anybody hasn't. I haven't fully read the book, but it's Peter Levine, you know. You can't go wrong with Peter Levine, at least that I know of. So I'm reading this book to kind of like I gotta get more into like trauma work, and this is probably gonna bring me back into therapy at some point in the near future, which I'm okay with. But I just needed to get all that out. I'm really disappointed in Janice. I went to, in my mind, like, fuck her, I'm never going back over there again. No more Tuesday visits. I'm so disappointed in her. And then I surprised myself, and Alicia helped me process through like feelings a little bit more. And I was like, I had calmed down a bit. And I'm like, yeah, I know this isn't who she is. She's a nice person. Blah, 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 blah. But I don't like that this happened, and I know I can't blame her. Like, it's not her fault. Like, she didn't, like, she contributed to like what happened with me, but like this was like just my shit. And I guess I wish that people would be a little bit more like, why would you act like that in front of anybody? It's weird to me that you would just fucking spank a puppy in front of people. Like, dude, I wanted to punch her in the face so hard. Ugh. But I probably would have killed her and then like been in prison for like elderly murder. I don't want to do that. I don't want to murder her, by the way. But I did want to like, oh, like what the fuck? Oh, just so weird. I hate shit like this. And this has not happened to me in so long. So Alicia, she did really good. She like, I just really appreciate how she helped me through all of that, both there and here. It was so helpful. And she's like, look, because they haven't texted me, and like it's going on 10:30 at night right now, and like they didn't, they like because they don't even know what to fucking do. And Alicia's like, you've got a few days to, revisit this and reframe and process through and think about what you want to say to Janice when you show up on Tuesday for your visit. Because I am going to say, like, a version of, that was not cool, Janice, and this is how it affected me. And don't you know that that's not the way to fucking train your dogs? But be tactful, because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to ruin our relationship. People are people. But like the version of me from like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think would have just been like totally okay with shutting the door on like a relationship that I've worked hard at trying to build. Like that's how easy it was for me to just throw people away. I was like, fuck you. I don't like that you did this. I don't need that in my life. Like, it really did cancel out some behaviors. It just canceled out a lot of the good qualities that people had. And like I think in some circumstances it was warranted that I did that. In others, I'm looking back and I know that like I could have handled that better. I could have salvaged those relationships if I had had better communication skills. I don't know. But anyways, so thanks for listening if you got that far or this far. And I hope it was relatable in some way. I feel a lot better. It's really kind of, to be honest, like it just feels really embarrassing, like that I even like did this episode. I felt really like embarrassed because I could feel myself like it's like that weird shiver response. And I know that like, maybe not a good time to get on here, record or talk about this but I have to just get it out of my brain because like I instantly feel like 60% better. And I'm not good at math, so 60 means either 70 or 50, I don't know. But I have like Bella who's about ready to call me in a half hour or so. And I needed to like just empty my mind of this, figure out how to turn it into a Substack post for tomorrow, which I don't even think I can do tonight because how would I write this? And then I just want to be there for her because like she's not having a good time right now at her house. So I want, and because I am not trauma dumping on my fucking niece. No way. That's why I have a podcast. So thank you for listening, and um that's all I can think of to say. Okay. Bye.